Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we're talking about some design choices that I don't like. I think they're gonna ruin your home and I don't wanna see them in there. And if you have them, of course, I'm gonna share with you how to make them work. But now that you know, we can all avoid them. And the first design choice you should not be making for your home is a top-mounted kitchen sink. And on top of that, an inexpensive faucet. This is an area of your home where if you have to do an upgrade, if you're doing countertops or anything like that, you need to take the opportunity to upgrade. Obviously, if you have it in place, okay, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it physically, just visually, there's something we could do better. So if you have solid surface countertops, even if you have tiled countertops, you can do an undermounted sink with them. And it just is more elevated. It just looks cleaner. It's more sleek when we don't have that little top edge of the sink sitting right there. And when we talk about a faucet on top of that, the faucet is a jewelry piece, okay? It's a statement, it's the necklace of the kitchen. And so I want it to be beautiful. I want something great there. Don't just get, like a little plasticky thing that is like, okay, it functions, it works for now. Get something nice. Get like a oversized with a gooseneck faucet. Get something that is like a beautiful finish and material. That's a good place to splurge a little bit. When I'm working with a client, I'll always tell them like, hey, here's what would look good for hardware on the cabinetry. Let's find something affordable that's a good solid metal and will look pretty there. It doesn't have to be designer, but let's splurge a little bit on the faucet because that's something we really see. That's what we really use and people look at. And so I want it to be nice. Those are really good areas to do upgrades. So obviously if you have them, if you have a faucet already, like you could swap it out for something a little nicer and that's great. But if you have a top mounted kitchen sink, there may not be something you can do about that. And you could just prioritize getting something that's a little bit more efficient for you. Like I like one single kind of basin in the sink instead of it being divided, or you can get an extra deep sink, which I mean, that's just a game changer in a kitchen. Those are really beautiful details to add in. And if you can do an undermounted sink, it will improve the overall look and feel of the space. Any space that you are engaging with in a utilitarian space will always feel better if it's a little more upgraded, and it'll create more of an experience in that space instead of a chore. Now, while we're talking about kitchen design, let's talk about one of my biggest pet peeves of the design of all time that I don't like. I don't want to have in my home, and I don't recommend for anybody else because I like all of you, okay? Like I might recommend it for my enemies, but they're not here. They don't have taste. Anyway, that's beside the point. I don't like that kitchen vent hood, and you all know what I mean. The ones where they have the angled sides and angled front and a skinny little, piece that comes up to cover the vent line. I hate those. I really don't like them. Now, they're not ugly. Like, let me just say that, right? Because a lot of people have them. They're very standard in homes. They're not ugly. They could just be so much better in place of that. Like, there's just so many different things you could do. I would rather see a vent hood that's a little more substantial and that has straight lines and sides on it. That way you don't get a dust buildup on them. That's just the reality of having a vent hood that's not completely vertical on all sides. So you may have to make a sacrifice if you want something that has that slanted look to it, a little bit more style to it, I guess. But the biggest trend for kitchen vent hood designs in 2026 is going to be, mark my words here, is going to be metal. Metal vent hoods, metal details that are built in, integrated into the kitchen space. And I really like this because there's pretty much a metal fabricator everywhere. Okay, like maybe you have somebody in town locally that you know, maybe you could look something up, there won't be someone too far away from you. And these metal vent hoods are essentially just metal that is bent into shape. And then, maybe it has like a lip for screws or something in it, and that's that. I mean, I love it. I love it. They look so great. They look beautiful. They look expensive and luxurious. To have just like a simple square vent hood that is clean, is easy to take care of, and metal, like that's easy to wipe down too. But that's a really good place to upgrade your kitchen if you're looking to make a simple change. If you're like, yeah, I just don't like it and I want to swap something out, I want to do something different here, you don't have to redo your countertops and backsplash. You need to upgrade that vent hood that is giving me nightmares, and I can guarantee you it will look a little bit better. Speaking of upgrading your home and what changes you could make, that's a little bit customized to everybody, right? We don't all have the same house, and I love that for us. But sometimes you need a little bit of expert advice on your specific space, so you should get that by booking a one-on-one virtual call with me. You can use the link in the description box down below or go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic to book a one-on-one interior design consultation where you can show me your home and I can answer some of the difficult questions for you, and I can also just throw out some great design ideas that would really elevate your space that you may not have thought of. And at the moment, we are currently running a sale, $50 off of a 30-minute or longer consultation session with me. You can book that, once again, using the link in the description box. There is more information down there all about the sale. That is now through December 7th at midnight. So head to the description box, click the link, go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic, and I will see you over there. Another design idea that's bad. It's bad. I don't like it. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's ruining your home. And needs to be corrected is white ceiling paint. That's not real. White ceiling paint is not real. I mean, it exists. I don't know why it has to be like a pure white ceiling paint. I don't like that at all. And basically, what happens here, light reflects off of different surfaces in different ways. You have horizontal and vertical planes. Horizontal would be your ceiling and floor, vertical are all of the walls that surround it. And a lot of people will say like, oh, paint the ceiling in a bright white ceiling paint so that it reflects more light. Now, when it comes to paint, you have something called LRV, which is basically, it just means the amount of light that color reflects into the space. And when it comes to white paint, usually it's like in the 90s or high 80s. And so like pure white ceiling paint might be like 93, 94, as where something that's tinted a little bit might be 89. Like, it's not that big of a difference. You're not gonna get that much more light out of using a pure white ceiling paint. So I just don't like it. I don't believe in it. I want my ceilings to match the other white color in the room. So if I have white trim, the ceilings are going to match that white trim. If I have white walls, the ceilings are going to match the white walls, right? Like that just makes more sense to me. It's just easier, it's more consistent, and the tones are the same. And immediately, you know where I'm going with this. I don't wanna see a blue white and a yellow white because one is gonna look dingy and gross and the other is going to look dull and bland. I don't want to put those two together. I don't like that. It doesn't look good, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I am always going to just take my trim color and paint the ceiling in that. Now, if you're concerned about, I want more light reflected down into the room, you can go 2 shades lighter than that. You can do it at a 50% color match, and it'll be a little bit brighter than the trim, and that's fine. I don't think you need to. I think you can just take the same color and use it on the ceiling. As a matter of fact, if you've been here for a while, you know I love a painted ceiling. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So if you really want to push the boundaries, I'm gonna say like, let's just take whatever the wall color is and paint it on the ceiling. Like just go big, go do it all. I love it, I love that, I think it's great. I don't believe in white ceiling paint. I think it is not real. I think, I'm not gonna say it's a scam because like you're getting the paint. Like it's not a scam, it's just not, I don't get it. I don't get why it has to be a pure white. That's what doesn't make sense to me. So if you're gonna do ceiling paint and you're really set on that, okay, like have it color matched. In my opinion, you could probably just use a flat white paint that's color matched to whatever white you have in the space and use that instead for a more seamless look, for something that's a little bit smoother, for something a little bit more all-encompassing. And the whole point here is, your white ceiling should not be the biggest accent in the space. It should just blend in and feel intentional. So using a pure white paint on it just looks a little bit out of place and slightly crazy. The next design choice, and it is a choice, let's say that I don't like, and I don't think you need to put into your home, is stacked stone. I don't like it. I don't like stacked stone. I don't like it at all. There's only a few places where I think this actually works, makes sense, and looks good. Now, stacked stone, a lot of people like it because it's expensive. It's real stone. It's, you know, it's great. It's textured. It's got all of this. That's the problem. That is the problem. I don't like that because I don't want to have to clean it, okay? So we don't have an army of housekeepers here. Like, you know, we have to live in reality, so I don't want to have to clean that. I don't want to have to take care of it. Like, I'm trying to be realistic in my space. Something with texture will always build dust on it and will always have to be cleaned thoroughly. Like, you're gonna have to get the brush attachment on the vacuum. You may even have to scrub it down, all of this stuff. Like, I don't have the commitment to do that, and I don't think it looks good either. So that's also beside the point. Only place a stacked stone detail looks good is on a fireplace that is either mid-century or rustic. Mid-century because you get that texture, and they kind of, some of these mid-century spaces have like a brutalist inspiration where that rough edge stacked stone looks really good, and I'll give them that. But in rustic spaces, you can also get that because it has a variation, it has like a natural sort of live edge. That, it makes sense, like I get it, you know, I can see that. But for me, I think there's other things we could do that would look just as good, if not better, and we don't have to sacrifice taking care of that material. I'm not saying if you have it to rip it all out. I've seen beautiful original mid-century homes that have this stacked stone detail in it, and I'm like, that is the selling point. Like, that is the thing about this house. It is amazing. Like, it can always look good in an instance. I'm just not going to recommend you do that now. Leave it in the past. It was a trend. It can feel a little bit dated if used in the inappropriate space, but we don't need to add any more of it in today. The stacked stone industry does not like me, because if it was me, it would be deleted. But that's beside the point. We don't have to do that today. We can do something much more elevated and beautiful. And speaking of making your home more elevated and beautiful, hi, how are you? Welcome to the channel. I'm Garrett. Please hit the subscribe button and join our LeChic design-loving community, because we would love to have you as a part of our LeChic family, where we post 2 videos a week at least, all about interior design and how to elevate and upgrade your home. So please take a moment and hit that subscribe button. I'd also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. Something else that I don't like to see and I don't want in your home, I think is kind of ruining the vibe, I don't like when I see it, is a faux rustic wood look floor. And the main problem I have with this is not that I don't like rustic design, because I do. I actually love that. It looks good, you know, in like a cabin or like a cabin. But that's beside the point. I don't like this because it doesn't look like real wood to me. There is too much variation within the wood grain for this to be real. And that doesn't make sense to me. Also, I think it looks a little too busy for most homes because it pulls focus from everything that's going on. So let's unpack all of that. When you stain a wood floor dark, you do not get bright, light tones of wood right next to dark, rich, saturated tones of wood. That's not the way stain works. It may go on a little splotchy, may go on a little uneven, but not like what you're seeing here. Wood does not stain like that. It's not real, it doesn't make any sense. That's not how wood really looks. And one of the reasons we see so much of this happening is that people will look at it and be like, oh, the tones of that floor are great because like I like that shade and it makes sense here and everything, but they don't realize that when you're picking things out and you're looking at an empty house picking things out, it's not going to look the same once you have furniture, once you have all of those things in that space. So when you look at something and you're like, that's a great detail, this is going to stand out, I want to see this, I want to see this, you make a space that is way too busy in those materials. Like, right, we have all of this wood, we're going to put a rug over it, now the rug has a pattern, we're going to put a sofa, the sofa has a color, we're going to put accent cushions, we're going to put artwork, we're going to put drapes. Once you get all of these things in that space, the flooring just is way too busy. You always want things to be a little bit more pulled back than you think, whether that is in the tone or the graining of the wood floor or the color you're choosing for the wall, the veining on the stone or the countertops. Like, you need to pull back just a little bit, because once we add furnishings into that space, it's going to be busier and louder than you think it is. And that's where a lot of people get held back in the design process. They make some choices and now they don't know how to complete the look because they've pushed the boundaries a little too far in those choices, and they need to pull back a bit. Because at the end of the day, these are expensive renovations to do, and I don't want you to do the wrong thing and then have to go back and fix it, because then it was just more expensive than doing the really high-end thing in the first place, which you could have had. Another design choice that I do not like, I do not recommend, I do not appreciate is cabinetry and shelves that project out from walls, that stick out. Now in a kitchen, we can't get around that because we need cabinetry, and I like that. Now my dream kitchen, if I'm gonna design it, I'm gonna have a wall that like encases the cabinetry, because I just hate to see the side of a cabinet. Like maybe a kitchen island, fine. But like an upper cabinet, it doesn't bring me joy to see the side of that, right? And it's kind of the same thing with the vent hood. I want something that's really built in so I don't have to look at a big side of cabinetry. Maybe that's a problem I have, and I'll unpack that later, but that's beside the point. I don't like when we have things, cabinetry, shelves that just stick out of walls unnecessarily. So in a kitchen, okay, we may not get around it, but when you're decorating your house, you don't need to have things that are really deep that are hung on walls, that are mounted there, because it just doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel right. When I'm looking at things to put on the walls, like artwork or sconces or something, artwork like this frame behind me is a particularly large frame. It may stick 3 inches out of the wall. And that's a lot for that. And that's kind of the most I want it to be. Most of the frames sit incredibly flush. Like this is maybe the depth of my finger. It's maybe an inch, right? So I want things that are just really close to the wall. When it comes to sconces, I'm gonna look for something that's like 6 inches. I might go for 8 inches if it's a really great fixture, but I also like something that's extra low profile there as well, because it just feels more natural. It doesn't feel like there's some big thing sticking out of the wall that I have to like duck and dive and dodge around. Now, if I have to mount something on a wall and it's going to project, I want that to extend all the way to the floor. I want to take it clear down the floor, or I'm going to have something underneath it that eliminates the feeling of it being, you know, sticking out of the wall. So if I'm doing sconces on a wall, I'm going to do sconces over a fireplace because the fireplace projects out of the wall. I'm going to mount the TV that sticks out of the wall with a light above it over a dresser, so it doesn't feel so obvious that it's there, that it's like projecting out of a wall. You don't want to be the person that mounts a shelf above their sofa and then hits their head at it. I mean, it's gonna hurt you when you hit your head on it, but we're all laughing and that's fun for us. Don't be that person. Don't have stuff that just like sticks out of the wall unnecessarily. It looks weird, it looks crazy, it looks out of balance, and I don't like seeing that because it's kind of holding back your entire design when you do something like that. Now that we talked about some design choices you should absolutely avoid in your home because it's holding you back, let's talk about some materials you need to avoid. Be sure you check out that video right over here, and I will see you over there.